I hate this idea that you're the best.
What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check. And my question right off the bat is, how many of you will be my buddies and my pals by the end of this video? Nobody's going to like this video, but let's be real, guys. I'm tired of being nice. I'm tired of being diplomatic. I'm tired of, keeping an open mind where clearly one does not deserve to be. Now, when people hear this video and when people hate this video, the first thing they are going to say is, oh, you're ripping off Wrestling Jesus. Wrestling Jesus, like, 15 reasons why so-and-so sucks is Wrestling Jesus' thing. I'm not OTRS. I will come up here and gladly up front say that this video is a page out of the Wrestling Jesus handbook. But if you consider the current world we live in and the fact that Wrestling Jesus has tucked his tail and ran from the YWC from such a simple threat as a couple of Nancy Grace supporters, he really doesn't have a leg to stand on, does he? Now that that's been taken out of the way, now that I've taken the first set of gunpowder out of your cannon, this is 15 reasons why Daniel Bryan, our current WWE World Heavyweight Champion, sucks. Oh yes. Oh yes. Number one, his first title run was a joke. He lucked out because two gigantic guys beat the crap out of each other with chairs, and he managed to pick up the scraps. And then he spent a couple months running from them with the belts, like a little bitch. Yes. Oh yes. Number two, one of his career big defining moment WrestleMania accomplishments was losing a match at WrestleMania to a jobber like Sheamus in 18 seconds. 3. The great promos that apparently you guys think that he gives are basically Christian's one more match promos given more time and on Raw. All he did from SummerSlam to WrestleMania is come out and whine and bitch and complain and ask for, indeed, one more match. Very, very, very sad. He's selfish. He stole somebody else's spot at WrestleMania. WWE knew they had to try so hard to push him and make him seem legit that they gave him 2 spots at WrestleMania. And I know you guys are going to say, oh, he deserved it, da-da-da-da-da. But normally, when you put the Bryan fan hypocrisy aside, the number one complaint at WrestleMania is that not enough people get their time to shine that they've earned, and there's at least one person on the roster that didn't get a chance to shine, probably got tucked away in the Battle Royal somewhere because Daniel Bryan had to be given 2 slots just to look legit. That is selfish, that is sad. He only got as far as he did because of Punk leaving. The only reason he got to take on Batista, Orton, Triple H, Kane for a little bit, the whole authority by himself, is because CM Punk left. Let's be real. He's small. This is reason number 6. And that's not a reason on its own, but if you look at who he's been going up against, Kane, Batista, Randy Orton, Triple H, guys that are like twice his size, and him always coming out on top. Okay, other than the fact when Triple H gave him the beating he deserved while he was handcuffed, he always seems to come out on top. And yes, it's a good feel-good story, but it's also very, very cartoony, and it gives all kinds of ammunition to the assholes out there that don't watch wrestling, that want to take us down and say, what the fuck is this? How fake is that? That's one pebble in the road stopping a steamroller. How can you even begin to believe in that? How can you even begin to get involved in that at all? And when people come to me like that and point out something like Daniel Bryan, you know what? I hate to say it, but they're kind of right. Oh, yes, his entire arsenal, and I'm sorry to say this, and this, oh, it's so taboo, it's so taboo. His entire arsenal is recycled Chris Benoit. We all miss the guy that was decent in the ring with no personality. And Daniel Bryan has filled that role from Chris Benoit quite nicely, including the headbutt, including the yes lock, which is about 2 millimeters away from being the crippler crossface. And Benoit was better. He might be a crazy-ass serial killer that killed his family and deserves to be in whatever hell pit that he's rotting in, but Chris Benoit was better than Daniel Bryan for days. 8. He is WWE's Eric Young, except for one thing. Eric Young isn't burying as many people. Oh yes. The whole him against the boss, him against the authority persona was recycled threefold. It was originally taken from Austin. Austin was the originator. That's fine. That's cool. That's fine. Whatever. They were going to give it to Punk, and they were giving it to Punk because Punk actually pulled it off properly. He was the anti-establishment guy, and he saw the writing on the wall, walked out. Good for him. And they asked Daniel Bryan is now, this is the sad thing, guys. I like Punk, but Punk is today's Austin. So Punk is doing a very good Austin impression. Bryan is doing a very good Punk impression, doing an impression of a good Austin impression. A copy of a copy is definitely not quite as sharp as the original. 10. The underdog story is done to death. If you hadn't had enough of the underdog story with Rey Mysterio to vomit, I want you to think about something. What is the underdog story? The underdog story is the success of somebody that shouldn't have succeeded. Somebody that logically shouldn't have won. Somebody that nobody thinks will win. Therefore, by definition, the underdog is a loser. Now, what you are all telling me, all you Daniel Bryan fans out there, is because Daniel Bryan is a loser, he deserves to be champion. That is fucking ridiculous. Kane. Let's talk about Kane for a second. Kane has had many tag team partners in his long-standing career. You guys know I'm not a big fan of Kane, but I can speak to it. He's partnered with his brother, The Undertaker. Awesome. He's partnered with The Big Show. That was okay. He partnered with Mankind. That was phenomenal. He partnered with Booker T, which was horrible. He partnered with RVD, which was horrible. He partnered with the Hurricane, which was at least comedy done properly. There is no worse Kane tag team than Team Hell No. Team Hell No was vomit-worthy. Moving on. He is super pushed more than Cena. And I'm not saying that just as a dig on Cena, but Cena is, you know, all the indie marks out there that want to put up a poster of what's wrong with wrestling, and I agree with them to a certain extent. That poster is John Cena. But, you know, it was Hogan, and then it was The Rock, and then it was Cena, and now it's going to be Daniel Bryan, who are pushed to the moon. And even John Cena doesn't get pushed this much. John Cena would not walk into WrestleMania with the story that Daniel Bryan had. Walked in with an already bad arm. Had a match, a good match, with a future Hall of Famer and somebody who's twice as big as him in Triple H. Won by the skin of his teeth, I would like to think. Then, you know, got smacked around by Triple H and Stephanie, and, you know, had his arm wrapped around the post and in a steel chair. And in the same night managed to go in with two other guys that are fresh, that are twice as big as him, and deal with Triple H, and deal with Stephanie, and deal with distractions and referees, and still come, like... I'm sorry, if that happened with anybody else, all you Daniel Bryan fans would be crying. If John Cena, for example, was booked like that against Daniel Bryan, you guys would all be bitching. And the fact that you don't want to admit that he is the new Cena. Think about this for a second. You all hate John Cena so much. John Cena stepped into the mid-card of WrestleMania to boost Bray Wyatt. Daniel Bryan went in and buried everybody he touched. Daniel Bryan is worse than John Cena in 2014. Oh yes. He carries on for WWE, and this is number 13, he carries on a very unhealthy pattern for the WWE. WWE did it with Hogan, with Austin, with The Rock, with John Cena. They're making it sound like there is no WWE without Daniel Bryan. And I'm not just saying this because Daniel Bryan sucks, I'm saying that this shouldn't exist in general. There should not be one man's head that the entire show stands on. You know, back in the day when you had Edge and Hardy and Batista and Orton and Cena and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and all the weight was shared. Yeah. What happens now that they've put all the carts behind the Daniel Bryan train? If Daniel Bryan gets into a car crash tomorrow, is WWE going to sit there and shrug their shoulders and close up shop? Because that's what they're setting themselves up for. John Cena, a couple of years ago, close to WrestleMania, got into a car accident. If you ask a WWE official, he probably thought WWE's dead and buried right there. And now they're doing the same thing with Daniel Bryan. But because he's the internet darling and the indie fan, you know, holy guy, or whatever you want to say, it's okay. You know, he deserves it. You know, he should have it. Nobody, I don't care how much you like the person, I don't care how much talent they have, how much whatever. No one man should be the center of the company. Because if there's one man in the center of the company, there's no challengers for that top spot, and that is sad. That's what we've been dealing with Cena for the past 12 years or so, and now we've got it with Bryan, and it's a bad mentality. It's a bad move for the WWE, and it's what's going to run WWE into the ground if they keep doing it. NXT is a great thing these days. This is my part 14. NXT is great now. NXT, when it was a reality-based TV show thing, sucked balls. And even though it sucked balls, Daniel Bryan still lost. He still lost. And even though he lost, he was brought back in as part of the Nexus. He still got onto the main roster, even though he was a loser. He got brought in as part of the jobber team known as the Nexus, which failed on its face, and got fired from that because he's such an idiot. He went and took somebody that wasn't a wrestler and choked them out with a tie because he's brilliant. Oh, yes. Not only that, but he was mentored by my boy The Miz, which puts him on the same level as Alex Riley. And when was the last time Alex Riley did anything in the ring? He's a commentator. Good for him. Daniel Bryan can go, commentate house shows or something like that. I don't really care. But it puts him on the same level as Alex Riley. Think about that. Are we saying Alex Riley should be a world champion? I know my good friend STEPHIE Sunshine would think so, and that would make her a happy kid. But I don't think Alex Riley is going to be holding that those 2 world titles tomorrow. Do you? No. So he lost a loser show. He lost a loser faction. But he's still a winner? Really? I don't know. And even when he did come back, he was falling on his face a whole bunch. 15th and last point I'm going to say. Oh, Daniel Bryan kept on getting screwed out of the title. That's why his win at WrestleMania meant so much. Here's the thing. Daniel Bryan never really got screwed out of the title. Daniel Bryan never did anything to earn his title shot. His original WWE title shot at SummerSlam was handed to him by John Cena. Not a #1 contenders match. Not okay, I beat the champion in a non-title match. He didn't win the Rumble. He didn't win a Battle Royal. He didn't win anything like that. It got handed to him by John Cena. And why did it get handed to him by John Cena? What is John Cena most well known for? He gives to sick kids. He gives to Make-A-Wish. He gives to the Susan G. Komen Commission. He gives to the military charities. And what better way to make John Cena look good than to give to the charity that is Daniel Bryan? Oh yes. Oh yes. Daniel Bryan never got fucked out of anything because his original title shot was handed to him. Therefore, his entire struggling, screwed over story is a myth. Moving on. Those are your 15 points. Those are 15 of the reasons why Daniel Bryan sucks. And oh, by the way, for those of you that think the ship goes down in flames without Daniel Bryan, last week's Raw didn't have Daniel Bryan on it and was so far the best Raw of the year. Oh yes. I've been Spaz, your YWC reality check. I hope you enjoyed this reality check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation, keep these conversations going. I bet you've got a bunch to say to me right now, don't you? Don't be a stranger. I'll talk to each and every last one of you later if you don't unsub. Bye.